The disc. The disc is the first weapon, the first magical tool that the magician formally makes. It's a round object that has a design on it, and the design is created by the magician himself or herself to represent their understanding of the magical universe. And it will be upon that disc or upon that understanding of the magical reality of things that the magician will stand to perform all of the rest of the magic of their career. So the disc's very important because it should represent absolutely everything that the magician understands to be. So this is my personal disc. The 4 Kabbalistic worlds and the 4 parts of the soul and those 4 trees of life, all emanating from a central kether. Around the perimeter are the infinities of Nuit and Hadit, and their union creates a field of operation for the entire 4-part universe to manifest. And that field of operation is their child, Rahu or Kuwait, in that 11-sided figure there. It's a very simple thing, but it's my disc, and it's served me well. And it serves also as the pattern for all of my discs in the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. This is the Ace of Discs. We've already talked about that a little earlier. And today we're going to start talking about the small card discs, the 2s through 10 of discs. And today we'll talk about the 2, 3, and 4 of discs. Now remember, 2, 3s, 4s represent the cardinal signs of the zodiac. Discs are the earth element, and cardinal earth is Capricorn. So these are the 30 degrees of Capricorn. So, starting with the 2 of discs. Harmonious change. Jupiter in Capricorn. That's roughly December 22nd to December 30th. That's 0 to 10 degrees Capricorn. Jupiter in Capricorn. Remember, I say all the 1, 2, and 3s because of the supernal triad are also almost always just deliriously good cards. 2 of discs. Hokmah and Asiya. The color, and this will be the princess scale of colors for the discs. White flecked red, blue, and yellow. There's our flecks. General divinatory meanings: change, first manifestation of earth. Perpetual change maintains stability. Angels of the Shemhamferish, Lekabel, teacher, and Vasaraya, upright. Goetic spirit of the day, number 28, Berith, or Biel, or Bial, or Bafre, or Bafrai. He is a mighty, great, and terrible duke. He appeareth in the form of a soldier, with red clothing, riding upon a red horse, and having a crown of gold upon his head. He giveth true answers of past, present, and to come. Thou must make use of the ring in calling him forth, as is before spoken regarding Beleth. He can turn all metals into gold. He can give dignities and can confirm them unto man. He speaketh with a very clear and subtle voice, but he's a great liar, and not to be trusted unto. He governeth 26 legions of spirits. Well, anyway, why would you want to... But that's up to the magician. If he likes being lied to, obviously there's a lot of people in the world that just would rather be lied to than told the truth. Okay, night spirit. There he is. Huaris, or Hauros, or Havres, or Flauros. He is a great duke, and appeareth at first like a leopard, mighty, terrible, and strong. But after, at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on a human shape, with eyes flaming and fiery, and a most terrible countenance. He gives true answers of all things, present, past, and to come. But if he be not commanded into the triangle, he will lie in all those things, and deceive and beguile the exorcist in those things, or in such and such business. He will lastly talk of the creation of the world and of divinity, and of how he and the other spirits fell. He destroyeth and burneth up those who be the enemies of the exorcist, should he so desire it. And he will not suffer him to be tempted of any other spirit or otherwise. He governeth 36 legions of spirits. Remember, he's a duke. His sigil would be in copper for Venus. Enochian attribution. That square appears in all 4 tablets. In the air tablet, he is the second capital T in Avtotar, the Mercury Senior. You'd open the temple in 2 = 9 and use call 3. He appears twice, or he appears once, but in 2 names on the water tablet. 2 seniors, the Sun King Ra'agyosil, he's the O, and the O in Soingst, the Mercury Senior. For the water tablet, you open up in 3 = 8 and use call number 4. On the earth tablet, he is the final R, capital R, in the Jupiter Senior, Axinor. You'd use temple opening 110, call number 5. And he is the first E, or the center E, in the Jupiter Senior of the fire tablet, Adoit. You'd open up the temple in 4 = 7 and use call number 6. Now, the 3 of discs. Material works. Now, when I was designing this deck, I thought, oh, material works, construction, machinery, working, moving forward, and everything else. So I decided to actually make them gears with cogs, okay? And my first prototype of this card was all 3 of these discs, their gears were touching. Their cogs were just like that one. All 3 of them, they were touching. And it didn't take long for me to realize that that would mean that they were completely frozen. They wouldn't move. If all 3 of them were together, they wouldn't move at all. And I'd have to call it don't works. But anyway, but I digress. Three of discs, material works, Mars in Capricorn, 10 degrees to 20 degrees Capricorn. That's right from New Year's Eve to January 9th. Bina for number 3 in Asaya for the suit of discs. Color, gray flecked pink. So there's our gray and there's our pink flecks. General divinatory meaning, constructive energy, crystallization of forces. Job, concentrated effort rewarded now or in the future. Angels of the Shemhamfarish, Ehuia, omniscient, and Lahaya, mercy. Goetic spirit, Ashtaroth. Now, if that sounds familiar, that's because this guy is famous. Or I would say this gal is famous. Mighty Duke, remember what I said about dukes being thinly disguised former pagan goddesses. He's a mighty and strong duke, and appeareth in the form of a beautiful angel, riding on an infernal beast like a dragon, and carrying in her right hand a viper. Thou must in no wise let him approacheth too near unto thee, lest he do thee damage by his noisome breath. Whereof the magician must hold the magic ring near his face, and that will defend him. He giveth true answers of things past, present, and to come, and can discover all secrets. He will declare wittingly how the spirits fell, if be desired, and the reason of his own fall. He can make men wonderfully knowing in all liberal sciences. He ruleth 40 legions of spirits. Now, obviously, the people that transcribed the original material of the Lemegeton and the grimoires, where all of this came from, were very invested in their own spiritual worldview of the spiritual domains and heaven and hell and all of that. That doesn't mean that the modern magicians' own magical philosophy and understanding of the universe is thrown out with the bathwater. Now, even though we appreciate the metaphor, the allegory of the fall of consciousness into this dimension, and we appreciate the fact that in the past that was seen as some kind of fall from grace, of a moral decay of some kind, doesn't mean that we can't still take advantage of the mechanics of that worldview. In the same way, when we go to the opera and have our consciousness elevated or changed by the plot of the opera, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to actually believe in Valhalla. Or when we go to the movies, we can learn great moral lessons and be spiritually uplifted by the plot of a movie that has absolutely nothing to do with our own reality, other than we are locked into and absorbed momentarily by that metaphor. Have I confused you? Anyway, let's move on to the day spirit. Andrielphus. He's a mighty marquis appearing at first in the form of a peacock with great noises. But after a time he putteth on human shape. He can touch geometry, he could teach geometry perfectly. He maketh men very subtle therein, and all things pertaining to mensuration, not menstruation, mensuration, or astronomy. He can transform man into the likeness of a bird. He governeth 30 legions of infernal spirits. Okay. From the Grand Cross, this square appears in all 4 elemental tablets in the governor's name, or the senior's name. He's the second A in Av Totar, the Mercury senior of the air tablet. You'd open it in 2 equals 9 and use call number 3. In the water tablet, he is the N in Soningst. I'll spell it for you. S-O-N, he's the N, I-Z-N-T. The Mercury senior of the water tablet, you'd open in 3 equals 8 and use call number 4. On the earth tablet, he's the O in Axanor, the Jupiter senior. You'd open in 1 equals 10 and use call 5. And he is the first O, or the center O, in the Jupiter senior of the fire tablet. And you'd open up in the 4 equals 7 and use call number 6. Finally this morning, the 4 of discs. Four of discs. Earthly power. Sun in Capricorn. 3rd decan of Capricorn. 20 degrees, 30 degrees Capricorn. That's approximately January 10th through January 19th. Hesed the princess scale of colors. Now you'll notice that the scales of the princess scale of colors are fragmented, speckled, and almost pixelated because Asiya, the world of discs, the Hey final of Yod Hey Vav Hey, the light, the original white light from the singularity has been so slowed down, fragmented, that it is now breaking apart in the material world. It's actually breaking apart. So everything is speckled and flecked. So this is azure, flecked, yellow. General divinatory meanings: unaggressive mastery over purely material circumstances. Security within protective walls, law and order. Angels of the Shemhamferish. Shavakia, to be rejoiced in. And Monadel, honorable. Day spirit of Goetia, Fornius. Number 30. He's a mighty and great marquis, and appeareth in the form of a great sea monster. He teacheth and maketh men wonderfully knowing in the art of rhetoric. He causeth men to have a good name, and to have the knowledge and understanding of all tongues. He makes one to be beloved of his foes as well as his friends. He governeth 29 legions of spirits, partly under the order of thrones, and partly that of angels. So these are pretty complex guys. Don't underestimate them. The night spirit, number 66, Chimeas, or Chimeges, or Camaris. He's a marquis, mighty, great, strong, and powerful, appearing like a valiant warrior riding upon a goodly black horse. He ruleth over all spirits in parts of Africa. His office is to teach perfectly grammar, logic, rhetoric, and to discover things lost or hidden and treasures. He governeth 20 legions of infernals. Enochian square, that same square appears with different letters on all 4 tablets in the Grand Cross section where the king and governor live. In the air tablet, he is the final R in Avtotar, the Mercury senior. Open in 2 = 9, use call 3. In the water tablet, he is the I in the Mercury senior. SONIZNT. You'd open in 3 = 8 and use call number 4. In the Earth tablet, he is the N in Axinor, the Jupiter senior. Open in 1 = 10 and use call 5. And it appears twice, or it appears in the names of 2 seniors of the fire tablet. He's the D in Edelperna, the sun king, and the D in Adoit, the Jupiter senior, which you'd open up in 4 = 7 and use call number 6. Well, that's that. I would like you to think, if you feel like thinking today, what your pentacle, what your disc, if you would think what symbol you would draw on a large coin of some kind that would represent your understanding of freaking everything. If you can't find anything you can think of somewhere in this design, then it's not really a pentacle. It's not all. It's not everything yet. So if you can come up with a design where you feel comfortable you can find and identify and locate absolutely everything in your reality, then you've got your design for your disc. And when you do that, you have just created the platform that you can stand on to begin to conquer your universe. And that's it for today. The weekend is ahead. I hope you have a good weekend. I'll be here talking about discs all weekend. So we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Get a vaccine if you haven't already. I'm trying. We're still waiting to find out where. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.